Before we go any further, let me ask you something. Where in the world are you watching this from? Maybe you're in your room, on the subway, or walking down the street wondering if it's really worth it to keep trying. I'm here to show you that it is worth it. And not just that, I'm going to reveal the exact method I use to turn every sunrise into my most powerful ally. No cheap motivational talk, just real strategies that work. This is going to change everything. You want to know the secret no one tells you? There's a magical moment that 97% of people waste. You won't find it on YouTube, and they definitely don't teach it in school. But that moment determines whether you own your day or your day owns you. For me, that sacred moment happens when the world is still asleep. Let me make one thing clear. I'm not one of those fanatics who wake up at 4 a.m. like robots. Some nights I work until 2 in the morning. I don't dunk myself in cold water like the social media influencers. If you're looking for that, you might as well close this video now. What I'm about to share is infinitely more valuable. I'm going to give you my complete system, mental, physical, and emotional, to conquer every morning. Whether you slept 3 hours or 9, whether your life is a mess or you've only got 5 free minutes, I guarantee this. When you finish this video, you'll have the blueprint to turn your mornings from a chaotic nightmare into a ritual of absolute power. It doesn't matter how old you are, what your situation is, or how many times you failed before. Don't go anywhere. This isn't just a morning routine. It's a total reprogramming of your mental operating system. Here's the raw truth. My day doesn't start when the alarm goes off. It starts in the silence of my mind before my eyelids even open. I don't spend the first 18 minutes after waking up checking notifications, thinking about meetings, or jumping into work. I dedicate that time entirely to mental architecture. The first thing I do is something so simple it almost hurts, but it's so powerful hardly anyone does it. I audit my mental state before my brain connects to the digital world. I ask myself one crucial question. What is the most important challenge I'm going to conquer today? This question instantly reorganizes your nervous system. It switches your brain from panic mode to strategist mode. It blocks the primitive part of your mind that craves quick dopamine hits from social media, and instead, it activates your purpose engine. Science fully backs this up. Dr. Daniel Siegel, one of the most respected researchers in neuroplasticity, explains how focused attention in the first 18 minutes literally rewires your prefrontal cortex. Your brain gets ready to operate in genius mode, not zombie mode. You don't need complicated apps. You don't need expensive gurus. You just need 6 minutes of total silence, no devices, no noise, and to ask yourself that one powerful question. Do it tomorrow. Write it down. Stick it to your mirror. What is the most important challenge I'm going to conquer today? And if you're 35, 45, or 55 years old and thinking that conquering challenges is no longer your thing, that's the most toxic lie you can believe. You still make decisions that transform lives. You still hold tremendous influence. You can own your mornings at any stage of life. Now comes the critical part. What I don't do, because real success is built just as much by what you eliminate as what you add. Here's the deadly trap I see 90% of people fall into. They wake up and immediately go into slave mode. Instagram, emails, TikTok, news. It's like opening the doors of your mind and letting 40 strangers start screaming at you before you've even brushed your teeth. I fell into that trap for years. I'd wake up and, like an addict, grab my phone, emails, messages, political drama, viral nonsense. It didn't energize me, it drained me. You start the day in victim mode, and when you're a victim of your circumstances, you build nothing. You just react. You don't create. That's why I eliminated it completely. Now I hold a sacred barrier, at least 35 minutes with 0 devices, no matter what's going on, even if there's an emergency, even if the world is falling apart. And here's the crazy part, my productivity tripled because I start each day from my center of power, not from external chaos. Your mission this week, 3 days in a row, for the first 35 minutes after you wake up, no news, no social media, no outside information. You're going to feel a massive shift in your sense of personal control. And if you fall back into the old pattern, no big deal. Just reset. Like any form of training, relapses are part of the strengthening process. Now let's talk about something most people completely ignore, your physical energy. I don't do intense gym workouts at dawn. I'm not out jogging 10 kilometers before sunrise, but I do activate my system and fuel it properly. I drink a full glass of pure water before I put anything else in my body, before coffee, before anything. Why? Because after 7 to 9 hours without hydration, if I even get that much sleep, your brain is running on a liquid deficit. And that deficit cuts your concentration by 20 to 35%, according to Harvard research. Then I do something incredibly simple: 12 push-ups, a 3-minute stretch, or just a short walk around my house. You don't need expensive equipment. What you need is activation. What's the point? You're sending a clear chemical signal to every cell in your body. Today, we're not going to be victims. Today, we're going to be protagonists. You trigger a cascade of neurotransmitters that tell your system this day has a defined purpose. If you're in your 40s, 50s, or beyond and think this isn't for you, you're completely wrong. Physical activation is relative. Even rolling your shoulders or doing deep breathing creates the neurological effect you need. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Just get activated. Once my mind is centered, my body hydrated and activated, I look at my schedule and ask myself, what's the one action that will move the needle today? This comes from systems thinking. You don't attack what screams the loudest. You target what creates the biggest impact. For me, it might be reviewing the manuscript for my next book or prepping the content for a talk that will reach thousands. For you, it might be that tough conversation you've been putting off, finishing that crucial presentation, publishing that piece of content, writing that first chapter. One high-impact action executed before distractions devour your mental energy. I block off that action like it's sacred. No interruptions, no calls, just pure laser focus. If you work in a traditional office or feel like your job controls you, I get it. But even 15 minutes of focused attention in the morning can be your game changer. Every one of my major projects began in small, clean blocks of focused time. Master your first time block and you master your entire day. But there's something we haven't touched on yet, and it might be the most honest part of this entire conversation, because you can know exactly what to do each morning, have your alarm set, your water ready, your priority written down, and still there's an invisible war that begins the second you regain consciousness. And that war is called, today, I don't feel capable. You know that voice, don't you? That heavy energy that whispers, why bother? It's just another day. It's not worth the effort. I'm exhausted. Nothing really ever changes. That voice visits me often. I know it intimately. You don't get to impact millions of lives, write international bestsellers, or speak on the world's biggest stages without facing mornings where everything feels impossibly heavy. But here's what I've discovered about resistance. It's not a sign to give up. It's an invitation to start microscopically. Resistance doesn't mean you're broken. It means your nervous system is doing its job, protecting you from the unknown, from failure, from vulnerability. That's how we're wired by evolution. But the people who truly transform the world don't wait for the perfect motivation. They move through resistance. And every time I choose to act despite the doubt, every time I say to myself, I'll just take a microscopic step, something fundamental reorganizes inside me. This is what I want you to try. Tomorrow, when that voice shows up saying, I just don't feel capable today, respond with, I'm just going to move 1 millimeter. Not complete the whole routine, not fix everything, just 1 millimeter. Put your feet on the floor, take a sip of water, open a page, write one line. That micro action rebuilds your neural architecture. You reclaim personal agency. And if you're thinking, easy for you to say, Jordan, you've got a platform, you've got resources, you've got a clear mission, let me share something deeply personal with you. When I was living in a tiny apartment during my PhD years, surviving on a ridiculous scholarship, showering at the campus gym because I couldn't afford hot water at home, I still had to face those mornings with nothing but pure willpower. My external circumstances didn't matter. My internal drive was everything. And that is exactly what you have right now. You don't need perfect conditions. You need intentional movement. Start small, stay consistent, and build trust in your own word. That's how I conquer mornings, even when every fiber of my being wants to stay under the covers. Let me share something that might sound contradictory coming from someone like me. I don't conquer my mornings just to be more productive or successful or to write more books or give more talks. I do it because I'm acutely aware of my mortality. When you truly internalize that your days are numbered, when you calculate that maybe you have 2,500 sunrises left if you're 70 or 18,000 if you're 25, your entire perspective changes. Every morning becomes sacred territory. It becomes an opportunity not to be perfect, not to impress others, but to live with radical intentionality. That's what I want to imprint in your consciousness. No matter if you're 18 or 80, your next sunrise could be the catalyst for your next decade. Maybe it's the morning you finally prioritize your well-being. Maybe it's the morning you decide to bring that idea to life. Maybe it's the one where you write the first sentence, start that conversation, make that bold decision. You don't need to replicate my life. You don't need to build an empire, but you do need to reclaim presence in your own existence. You do need to reclaim your personal authority, because when you do, you don't just shift your day, you shift who you are. You become someone who doesn't passively react, but who creates intentionally. And from that moment on, your mornings stop being a random sequence of events and start becoming a spiritual practice. This is how you build something that lasts. Not just through external achievements, but by showing up consistently, especially when no one else is watching. And when you operate from that kind of integrity, your children absorb it, your friends feel it, and you experience it in your bones. This is how you truly win. Your moment has come. Tomorrow, when you wake up, run this sequence. Stay still for a moment. Ask yourself, what is the most important challenge I'm going to conquer today? Activate your body, even if just a little. Breathe consciously, stretch, hydrate. Send a clear message to your biology. You exist to create, not just survive. Complete one meaningful action before plugging into the digital world. Keep this practice for 5 days in a row, then come back to this video and share what shifted. Write your experience in the comments. I read every single one personally. If this message added value to your life, share it. Someone in your circle is still waking up in chaos and they need to hear this. You have one life. Conquer your mornings and you'll begin to conquer your destiny. Thank you for your time. Subscribe to the channel. Now go and take ownership of your morning.